Hello, everybody, and welcome to another English lesson with me. Today, we are going to continue to talk about the zero conditional. So, what exactly are we going to do in this lesson? Well, first, we are going to check the homework. Do you remember the homework from the last week? Of course you do. Then, we are going to revise again the form and the use of the zero conditional. And in the end, you are going to do some practices. Dakle, u ovoj lekciji ćemo se najpre podsjetiti domaćih zadatka, potom ćemo se podsjetiti građenja i upotrebe nultog kondicionala i na samom kraju opet ćemo raditi neke vežbice. So, let's check the homework first. I believe that this homework was not too difficult for you to do, and you had to put these verbs in brackets into the simple present tense to make the zero conditional. So, let's start with the first sentence. What does it say? If it, then we have the verb rain in bracket, the streets get wet. What do we have to say here? Šta ovdje treba da kažemo? Treba da kažemo da kada pada kiša, da su ulice mokre. So, how are we going to say that? In English, of course. Very good. If it rains, the streets, excellent, get wet. So, if you remember, here we had to put the S ending because it is the third person singular, it. And on the other side, we don't have the ending on the verb. Why? Because the word streets is in plural form. Dakle, ovdje smo, deco, morali da stavimo nastavak S na glagol, zato što je glagol u trećem licu jednine, it. Dok sa druge strane, glagol je čist, bez ikakvog nastavka. Zašto? Zato što je ova reč u množini. So, let's move on to the example number 2. My mother, we have the verb get, angry, when I not do my homework. Mama se ljuti kada ne radim domaći zadatak. Well, it is normal for her to do that. So, what are we going to say here? My mother get or my mother gets? Of course, we have to say gets. My mother gets angry when I, now we have the negative form. Excellent, when I don't do my homework. Number 3, if you, we have run too fast, you, we have get really exhausted. What are we going to say here? If you run or if you runs? Oof, I don't like the other example, so it must be if you run. Very good, children. And on the other side, you get or you gets. Of course, it is without S, just you get. If you run too fast, you get really exhausted. Kada trčiš i suviše brzo, ti se zaista umaraš. Number 4. Well, this is an easy example because we had a similar example but with a baby during the last lesson, if you remember. Well, I know that you paid attention, so we are going to say my little sister always cries. Very good. When she is hungry. But now I want to emphasize here the forming of the verb when adding the ES ending. So, what happened here? As you can see, the verb ends in the letter Y. Glagol se završava na slovo Y. But when we add es ending, y transforms into I. Ali, kada dodajemo nastavak es, y prelazi u i. Zašto je to tako? Zato što ispred y stoji suglasnik. Dakle, kada ispred y stoji suglasnik, on prelazi u i pa se dodaje nastavak. Ali ako stoji samoglasnik, onda se samo dopisuje nastavak, y se tada ne menja. And the example number 5, we have question form to do now. So, how do we make questions in simple present tense for the person you? Excellent, we use do. So, we have to start the question with do. And we're going to say, do you take an aspirin when you have a toothache? Very good. Da li uzimaš aspirin kada te boli zub? So, as I have said, this is a piece of cake for you. So, it is time to revise the form of the zero conditional. If you remember, during the previous lesson, I said that conditional sentences consisted of if clause and the main clause. Rekli smo da se uslovne rečenice, pa naravno i ovaj nulti tip, sastoje od if rečenice i glavne rečenice. If clause always begins with if or when and the verb is in simple present tense. If deo uvek počinje sa if ili when i glagol je uvek u simple present tense. On the other side, the main clause is in simple present tense as well. Sa druge strane, glavna rečenica je takođe u simple present tense-u. The example shows that as well, and it says, if or when the tooth is broken, it hurts. The if clause is if the tooth is broken. The verb to be is in simple present tense, and in the beginning we have if or when. It hurts is the main clause, of course, and the verb hurt is in simple present tense as well. And the meaning of this sentence is, kada je zub pokvaren, on boli. Another example is with when, and it says, when he drinks too much coffee, he doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep is the main clause, but now in negative form. And this part of the sentence, when he drinks too much coffee, is the if clause, of course. The verb drink is in simple present tense, and it has the s ending because we have the third person singular. And the translation of this sentence is, kada pije mnogo kafe, on ne može da spava. Let me remind you again that simple present tense is very important for the zero conditional because we have to put the verb in if clause in simple present tense and the verb in main clause is also in simple present tense. Now I will show you some more examples to make it easy for you. If you look at this picture, what can you tell me? What do you see? Yes, you can see a girl holding an umbrella. Why is she holding an umbrella? Well, it is probably raining outside. It is very wet. So, what does she have to tell us? She says, when it rains, and I don't have an umbrella, my clothes get wet. Kada pada kiša, a nemam kišobran, moja odeća se pokvasi. Well, It is a normal thing to happen if you don't have an umbrella. On the other side, we have a picture of a baby boy eating an apple. What does he have to say? He says, "If I don't eat, I'm hungry. Kada ne jedem, ja sam gladan." Well, aren't we all hungry when we don't eat? And final picture. What do we have here? Oh, yes. We have some water on a fire. The water is boiling. Oh, we have another picture. We have a picture of a scientist. So he's probably giving us some scientific fact about the boiling water. Let's see. He says, "If I heat water, it boils. Kada zagrevam vodu, ona ključa." If you remember, children, when I talked about the use of the zero conditional, I said that we used the zero conditional for general truths, habits, scientific facts, instructions, and advices. And I also said that we had to meet the condition for the action to happen. Dakle, ako se sećate, deco, prošlog časa sam pričala o tome da nulti tip kondicionalnih rečenica koristimo kada želimo da izrazimo neke istinitosti, navike, naučno dokazane činjenice ili da damo neka uputstva i savete. I s obzirom da se one zovu uslovne rečenice, sama reč nam kaže da je potrebno da se ispuni neki uslov da bi se radnja realizovala. So we must heat water if we want it to boil. Moramo da je zagrejemo ako želimo da ona proključa. So, I believe it is a perfect timing for you to do the first activity for today. Well, what do we have to do in this activity? It says, complete these sentences using the zero conditional. So what are we supposed to do? Who would like to tell me? Very good. We have to put the verbs in brackets into the simple present tense. Very good, children. Now, let's start with the first example. It says, if we have in the bracket, a headache, the verb is take, an aspirin. We had a similar example, and we have to say, mi bi trebalo da kažemo, kada imam glavobolju, ja uzimam aspirin. So, the main question here is, are we going to say if I have or if I has? If I have a headache, very good. And here, I take or I takes. Of course, we are going to say just take. Excellent. Number 2, if you heat water, oh my God, this is an easy one, so let's do it straight away. What are we going to say here? Excellent. If you heat water, it, very good, it boils. As you can see, children, now, these 3 examples, have, take, and heat, they are all without S ending. Why? Well, it is because we have the persons I and you. On the other side, the 4th example, boils, is with the S ending because we have the 3rd person singular. Kao što, deco, primećujete, u ova 3 primjera glagoli su have, heat i take bez nastavka. Zašto? Pa zato što imamo lica I i you. Dok sa druge strane u ovom 4. delu na glagol boil smo morali da stavimo nastavak S zato što je to 3. lice jednine. Let's quickly move on to example number 3. Plants grow when or if it rains. Treba da kažemo da biljke rastu kada pada kiša. So, plants is in plural form. What are we going to say here? Very good. Plants grow when it, we have it here. Very good. When it rains. Number 4. If water boil, what now? We have the same example like number 2. Oh, no. Sorry, I haven't read it completely. It evaporate. Now we have to say, kada voda ključa, ona isparava. So, if water boil or boils? Excellent. Boils. It, again, with S ending. Very good. It evaporates. Now, in sentence number 5, we have the negative form. So, we have you. What do we use to make the negative form? Don't. Very good. So, this is if you. Excellent. If you don't take care of your pet, it gets stressed. Kada ne vodiš računa o svom kućnom ljubimcu, ono je pod stresom. Number 6. Again, we have the negative form, but now we have the third person singular. She. What are we going to use now? Are we going to use don't? Of course not. We are going to use doesn't, and we are going to say if she doesn't study, her parents get angry. Kada ona ne uči, njeni roditelji se ljute. Number 7. Oh, this is another easy example. If you remember, we had this example last week. It is about the ice. So, what are we going to say here? Ice. Excellent. Ice melts if you, what? If you hit it. 8. Water. What? Water again? Oh. Again, I'm not reading the sentence till the end. Water, we have the verb turn into ice. If you, we have the verb freeze it. Oh, we have the opposite situation now. Sada imamo obrnutu situaciju. Treba da kažemo da se voda pretvara u led kada je smrzavamo. So, again, we have water. We should put what? Excellent. The S ending. Water turns into ice if you freeze it. Very good. Number 9. If you, we have the verb play, fortnight for hours, your eyes, we have get tired. What are we going to say here? If you play or if you plays? Well, of course, we already know that. If you play fortnight for hours, your eyes get tired. Number 10. You, we have the verb lose your streak if you, oh, the negative form again, not send a photo in Snapchat. First, let's do the first part. You, we have the verb lose. What are we going to say? Very good. You lose your streak if you, the negative form now. When we have you, we are going to say, very good. You really paid attention last week. I'm happy to hear that. If you don't, send a photo in Snapchat. And the example 11. In both sentences, we have the negative form, but in the main clause, we have teacher, so it is he or she, and in if clause, we have you. So, what are we going to use here to make the negative form for he and she? Excellent. Doesn't know. And what are we going to use here for negative form when we have you? Very good. Don't turn on. So the sentence is, your teacher doesn't know you are in class if you don't turn on your cameras or answer her questions. So, was this difficult for you? Well, I believe it wasn't difficult because you gave me all the correct answers. Congratulate, children. So, let's do another activity. This activity is a little bit different one. Why? Here we have 6 sentences, but as you can see, the words in these sentences are all mixed. So what are we supposed to do here? We have to put the words in the correct order to make the correct zero conditional sentences. So let's start with the first sentence. What words are given here? We have not, I am, I, get, busy, if, bored. So what are we going to say here? What is the right order of these words? Very good, children. It is I'm not bored if I get busy. Nije mi dosadno kada imam šta da radim. Very good, children. Now, let's look at the sentence number 2. What do we have here? Happy, if, I am, happy again, you are. Now what? Wow, it is a very simple one. I'm happy if you are happy. Ja sam srećna kada si i ti srećan. Well, children, you are getting better and better. Excellent. Oh, look at number 3. I believe this is a difficult one. What do we have here? And, you, fat, if, exercise, eat, don't, you, healthily, get. Oh my God, this is really a difficult one. What? This is not a difficult sentence. Come on. I don't know the right order. What is it? Really? You are excellent, children. If you don't exercise and eat healthily, you get fat. Ako ne vežbaš i ne hraniš se zdravo, ugojit ćeš se. Number 4. Time, have, flies. You, fun, when, flies and fun. I don't get it. What did you say? Really? Well, this is an easy one. When you have fun, time flies. Kada se lepo provodiš, vrijeme prosto leti. Very good, children. Now, let's look at sentence number 5. Water, you, boil, evaporates, it, if. This is an easy one. We had this example thousands of times. So, very good. If you boil the water, it evaporates. And the last one, you, when, look, feel, good, you. Now what? Who would like to tell me? Very good, children. You look good when you feel good. Izgledaš dobro kada se osjećaš dobro. So, are we getting clear with the zero conditional? Of course we are. Now, we have to do the final activity for today. Here, we have 8 sentences to complete with the verbs in brackets. Again, we have to put the verbs into the simple present tense. Is it simple or what? Now, let's read the first one. If you, we have the verb press this button, the machine, the verb is start. Šta treba da kažemo? Treba da kažemo da kada pritisnemo dugme, mašina počinje sa radom. So, the main question here is, are we going to say if you press or if you presses? Of course, we are going to say if you press this button, the machine, very good children, the machine starts. Number 2. Now we have the negative form and we have I. What are we going to say here? Excellent. If I don't practice the piano every evening, what is it now? I forget how to play it. Kada ne vežbam na klaviru svako veče, ja zaboravim kako se svira. Number 3. When we have the verb take our dog to the park, she always, we have the verb run away. Imamo priču koja kaže, kada izvodimo našu kucu u park, ona uvek pobegne. Do you have the similar situation with your dog? So, let's do this sentence. What are we going to say here? Yes, we take. And we have she, so we must say what? Very good. We must say runs. When we take our dog to the park, she always runs away. Number 4. We have the verb be, usually late for work. When we have the verb miss, the 8 o'clock train. What are we going to say here? Excellent. I am usually late for work when I just miss, nothing else. When people, we have the plural form, which means they, and we have here negative form of the verb. What are we going to say here? Very good. When people don't eat, they get or gets. Of course you know, they get hungry. 6th sentence is with the question form in the main sentence. So, first we are going to do the if part. It says, when you fly budget airline, what are we going to say here? Yes, we are going to say fly. And the question now with you is, very good. Do you have to pay for drinks and snacks? Kada putuješ ekonomskom klasom, avionom naravno, da li je potrebno platiti piće i grickalice? Number 7. My mom always, the verb is take, plenty of sun cream when we go on holiday. So first, we have to think about, should we say, my mom always take, or my mom always takes? What is it? Yes, my mom always takes. And on the other side, are we going to say we go or we goes? Of course, we are going to say just go without the S ending. My mom always takes the plenty of sun cream when we go on holiday. Moja mama uvek nosi puno kreme za sunčanje kada idemo na letovanje. And the last one is in question form. So here we have your boss, tvoj šef. So this is the third person singular, he or she. And we have to make the question form. How are we going to do that? What are we going to use? Do or does? Very good, children. We are going to use does. Does your boss get angry when you? When you are late for work. Da li se tvoj šef ljuti kada kasniš na posao? So children, having done this activity, we have finished with practicing the zero conditional. And believe it or not, this is the end of today's lesson. I hope I helped you to understand the forming and the use of the zero conditional. So what can I say now but thank you for being with me today and thank you for being with us. Take care of yourselves. See you next time. Goodbye.